Okay, we're going to do the start and end of this and set the variable x to 3, and we're going to do it in Java. So to do it in Java, we need to hop over to the NetBeans program, and the first thing I'm going to tell you about is all of these items that are grayed out. So after a forward slash and a star, everything is a comment right the way up to a forward slash, a star and a forward slash. They're all comments, and we don't really need the comments. They're just going to get in our way for the time being, so I'm going to delete them. Comments do have a use in Java. They help to perform the user manual. So if you play a game or write a game, the code that is in the comments could appear in a user manual. We don't need this one at all. We'll not be covering that in this course, and this is where our program actually starts. So let me set out, there are two ways of doing this. I'm going to show you both ways. It's down to you which your preference is. Now, when I want to set x equal to 3, I need to know what data type 3 is. And 3 is a whole number, which is an integer. So I started off with 3 letters int for integer. Then I say what the variable name is. Now, I want to talk a little bit about camel case that we're using. I want you to notice that here we've got public class, and it's got the word my first. We didn't type that, that was generated by the program, but it has a capital M to begin with. And above that, we've got something called a package, and the whole thing is in lowercase. But I've said, oh, we only write variables in camel case, and that's quite true. Because if you use a capital letter to begin with, it thinks it's a different data type. It thinks it's a data type of class. And if we learn a bit more about Java or other languages, classes are completely different to the way we play with data types at the moment. And what a package is, well, that's your project. So I've called it my first, and I could have 10 or 15 files in here, all my graphics and sounds and other pieces of code, and they all go together in one package called my first. So when I release my program to somebody else, they get the package, and inside the package are all my files. So that's all lowercase. My first has got an uppercase M, and that is necessary to be a class. And if I'm going to write variables, I'm going to use them in camel case. I don't need to think about camel case now because I've only got the one letter. So int x, and if I put a semicolon at the end, that's the job done. So all I need to do is specify what type it is and what the variable name is, and put a semicolon at the end. However, that has not set it to 3. I have to declare my variables before I can actually use them, like setting them or printing them out. So my next line is going to be exactly that. X equals 3, and put a semicolon at the end. If I don't put the semicolon, it will underline it and say you've made an error. So every line needs to finish with a semicolon. So that's it. That is set x to 3. Now, I didn't need to do this. It's a matter of personal choice. I prefer that method because we can actually do it all in one line by saying int x equals 3, and that would be fine. So if I've made a mistake, I will get a red message over here. The yellow light bulb means I've got a warning. They are a bit strange, some of the warnings, and might not make any sense, but I will show you how to play with them later as we're programming. So that is one way to set x to 3 in Java. You need int, you need to say what data type it is, which is why Python is not so good when you come to your exam, because your exam will be working with data types, integer, boolean, real, float, and so on. And Python doesn't refer to them at all, but Java and other programming languages do. So we've seen the fact that we need to specify what kind of data type it is in Java. Now, to run my program, and again, I'm only setting X to 3. I'm not doing anything with it. All I need to do is press the green button here, run the project, and it will run this one, the public class, and everything inside there. So this is the start or the entry point to my program, and this is the output. You can think of this like the shell. It's called a console, and because it doesn't print anything out or do anything, it just tells me that it was successful and how long it took to build. Now this is like a compiled language. It turns not into machine code. This turns the program into something called Java bytecode, which we will look at in detail at some point. So that is our first look at Java, set in X to 3. So on to another language.